there are threats of lease violations if they play cards in the community room. Is this accurate?
Well, I don't know about those threats, but there's.
Well, there's a sign posted in the building is what I was
Yeah,
told.
yeah, and so what it is it's community living, right?
Mhm.
So it's like one big happy house, except it's not always happy. And when there's disputes, the administrator has to make a judgment rule. And the administrator, because of this dispute, decided that to solve the problem, they were not gonna be playing cards in that room anymore.
Don't you think issuing lease violations is an extreme?
I don't believe there is a lease violation issued. Did you read the bylaws?
No.
Okay.
Just thought it was a fair question to ask.
Well, I'm not describing.
I mean, I know there's two sides to every story, I understand that.
Exactly, but I'm not gonna micromanage the administrator. If you would like to, you're welcome to try. You know, you hire an administrator to do a job.
Right,
Yep,
absolutely.
yep, absolutely. And unless
Yeah.
there is a grievance or a violation, then I'm not gonna micromanage them.
Okay.
Fair
That's
enough?
fair. Yep.
Yep.
Can you tell us what the dispute was?
No, I can't.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thanks, Kelly.
You bet.
Do you have a Wendrix thing too?
I do have a Wendrix
Oh.
thing.
Okay.
So you brought to me a proposal on, you wanted to chip seal the Viga Road.
Right.
And my
Yep.
Yep, my understanding is the quote was given to me, and to do the job properly was $70,000 plus or minus.
Mhm.
And that's still true?
Yes.
That's true, okay. Now, what's the timeline on that being accomplished?
Never really,
Because it's on the site as being done this year, if you go on the web.
The only project that was submitted for this year was the Pond Road.
Okay, because who showed it to me? I think Adam did at work, our logistics guy, because he goes over the construction projects,
Yeah.
and that's listed as a 2025 construction project.
I just talked with Cass at the end of last week.
Okay, so anyway, we had discussed Wendrix making a commitment to that project.
Right.
And Wendrix is willing to commit $20,000 to that project being completed.
Okay.
Now, is this Biga or is this old US 2?
To
The loop.
The
The loop.
Okay.
Yeah, and that chip seal should preserve that road for,
another 5-7 years, I would say.
yeah, because it's not, parts of it are not very good right now.
Double chip seal or just one?
Double,
Double.
yep.
And not the county.
Not the county with the seal coat on top. That was that extra line.
Well,
item
that
on
was what brought it up to, that was what brought it up to 70,
Yep,
Yeah.
is putting the top coat on there.
yep.
Well, they bought their own machine now. And supposedly they went downstate to school to learn how to do it. That's what I was told by
Hope you
Dave,
remember.
but, you know, so.
Well, okay. Well, thank you for that
You bet.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.
offer of
Kelly.
contribution. That's great.
Yeah, I'll match anybody else that wants to throw in.
I got 100.
All right, thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Bills, minutes, and treasurer's report. Does this television bill that covers the sleeve and everything?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kelly, when's your next board meeting?
The school board
Yeah,
is the 27th at 5 in Powers,
at the school?
at the library in Powers, yeah, the school
Thank you.
library.
I have a motion to approve the bills, minutes, and treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Linda, second by Mark, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Maxine?
Okay. The audit is still going good. Talked with Peter yesterday. He's working on the end of 2021. The middle of the month, he sent another 3 lists of stuff he needed. 22 more invoices, 5 different deposit payments. And then he was questioning the accounts for the sewer disposal bond reserve bank accounts, which back then in '21 were Wells Fargo accounts that turned into Flagstar accounts, and then now they're Northern Interstate accounts. So he couldn't find and see the statements for those, but now he's got his information, he's good on all of that.
Okay.
So we're right up to having him have all of his information on that stuff. So as of yesterday, he was good. He's thinking though to finish up 21, another 2-3 weeks at the quickest. And then he'll start going into 22. And also, we received a couple letters from, one came in from the state of Michigan saying the sales use and withholding taxes reports for the years of 2023 and 2024 were not submitted. So we had to get up to date on our form 5081. So this notice came in on May 12th. So I got those printed, filled out, and they're sent in. So we're up to date with the state of Michigan. Then we got 2 from the Internal Revenue Service. One is for a tax period of December 31st, 2016, where they say whoever filed it back then did not file the year-end report correctly. They filed a 943 agricultural end of the year report. So when I talk to them, I just have to do an amended 943 and then turn it into a 944. Otherwise, they're wanting $21,000. So I got that started and ready to go in the mail. I will send it certified so we know that they got it and stuff like that. I did go in and schedule access so I could do it all online. I'm waiting on verification codes and passwords. So, yep, in my conversation then with the IRS, I said, well, what else? If we change that around and get that cleared off, what else are we missing? So she told me that we have, and we are missing, and these would be 941 quarterly payroll reports, along with the 944 year-end reports. She didn't say anything with W-2s, so they must have the W-2s. So these go back all the way to 2012. So we're short all of them years. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Missing reports with the IRS. So I came and printed all the back years, and I will start working on filling out all the forms. Get them sent in, or hopefully I'll have my access, I can do them all online. And be up to date. And just so you know, 25 is good. That's it. Oh, and then I'll have a treasurer meeting to go to in Stevenson on Thursday the 5th for the new tax year. That's it. A lot of work.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, it was a surprise to find that out, but
Well, yeah, there's a common denominator to 2012 to 2024, unfortunately.
yeah, I'll have to find out who all was here.
Okay. The well at the point, the well driller's been out there, Miss Dig has been out there. We're gonna have the well driller come back because the spot
The
that
line's a little closer.
is a little close to where Miss Dig marked the electrical line, so we're gonna have to find a different spot for it.
I left him a message, but I haven't heard
Yeah.
anything back from him, so.
But the hope is to have the hand pump out there and going by the weekend for the 4th.
He should be able, he could still go to the south quite a bit though, before he's in by the parking lot, so.
So that's the update on that. Linda, you wanted to talk about the rummage sale date and set one?
Yes, we wanna do it because it's a town thing, so we figured the town's gonna set the date. And then that way it's always set and it's the town thing. Like Norway does, it's always the same weekend every year. So we were thinking the best one, now that there's no wood tick, that we would go the first week of August every year. So, and that's when it's gonna be set at.
Sounds good.
August 2nd.
First Saturday in August?
Yeah, first Saturday in August.
Or first weekend in August?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, that sounds good. And 4th of July preparations.
I'll take care of the toilet. I've been for
Okay.
12 years, so. Other than that, I just got the liquor license signed, so we just gotta get that notarized, sent in.
I figured we'd do this month because the meeting's later in the month now, so we
That's
don't
fine.
wanna wait until.
I didn't know if I was
Do
allowed
we-
to talk, so.
Go ahead, do we have the insurance information yet or no?
I have the paperwork from the Spielbauers.
Yeah, he just signed that.
That is for, and I'll get a bill for that. As far as the liability for that day, I'll talk to our insurance and we'll have to get that settled. But I do have food vendors lining up, I have, the band is all set to go, the beer is ordered, so we're not having the same beer as we had last year. And, yeah, the license, the bouncy house houses are ready. Everything is going on. I don't know who's doing the parade. I haven't heard, I don't know if that's,
I asked, what's her name to do the little kids, but
Dave and I have done it the past couple of years.
I
We'll do it
kinda,
again.
I mean, I'll help you with whatever you need, you know, as far as, but,
Stephanie, that's who's gonna do the little.
but, I mean, it's in the planning stages, it's, you know, we pretty much have, everything, you know, in the planning stages as far as, you know, like I said, we have the wrestlers are supposed to do,
Wrestlers are doing.
we got the Mexican truck,
Yeah, I never the heck they named that.
we have another one that does drinks, you said there was a Girl
I
Scout
can't, and the Girl Scouts
are supposed to
want to
do,
do something too.
um,
I told them we'd have a meeting before with just them instead of.
I did send out, we got Matilda's, she's
the-
coming
yeah.
with her elephant ears, and such, and
And you guys will have Curious Pate down here?
They usually go, yeah, by the car
By
club.
the car show.
yeah, so we don't do anything down
Right,
here.
that's why I said that's separate, so.
Yeah,
We have talked to, what's her name in Powers?
Chelsea.
Chelsea, but we haven't confirmed with her. Cause, and the mud runs is, they're planning on moving, you know, doing some work on the track, moving it back or
Yeah,
something.
in the next couple of weeks.
So, yeah, so I think it's pretty much, as fireworks, I have the bill for it. I'm sure he probably has a delivery date. He usually plans and doesn't tell me any of that, but, we should be good with that.
Because we did get the Hannahville, right?
That'll help with the
Right.
$3,000 for the insurance for the booms. So the show will be very similar to last year. It's a $30,000 show, but with the discount, it's about 20,000 something. So. other
Did you
than-
get a band?
Yeah, we got the Peltiers.
Oh.
I booked them the same day as the last year's show,
Oh, there you go.
cause,
You can't find a band anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
but they really enjoyed playing at Hermansville, and they were really happy to do it, so hopefully I can try to
Yeah.
book them again.
Most
Um,
definitely.
They,
Thing we are looking for is volunteers though to bartend. Because it's
well, not only bartend, but tickets.
Well, right, but I mean, that's the biggest thing is bartenders.
If we don't get any bartenders, we may have to hire some, because
Yeah.
we cannot
Be everywhere.
be everywhere. I am not gonna sit there all day and take tickets. We have a town that people can come up and step up to the plate.
Either
and-
an hour, whatever,
You know. My daughter doesn't even wanna come up for the 4th because I'm too busy putting on the 4th for everyone else. So,
Maybe you should get it out so people know that they.
I plan on getting it out.
People probably don't even know that you need volunteers.
Yeah, we asked.
We've
them
asked for
the last
volunteers
20
and people
years, and
just-
that's still,
Yeah, but you know.
Nobody wants to volunteer. Everybody thinks it just comes out of the air and then they cry if it's not there.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
'cause I gotta be between there and the hill, so it's tough, because I gotta make sure up there.
Well, those guys work on the hill. I mean, it doesn't just start that morning up. They work on the hill weeks before.
It's
to
the
get
wiring
everything set
that
up.
takes all the time, to wire all that stuff up, you know, and then pray to God it don't rain. And then you're covering and to cover shit up.
Which we do have tarps and stuff, but
But Henry Leesburg does a good job, he does.
he does. And the other guy's helping. I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of them, not just Henry.
but without Henry, it was hard when Joe was, kind of getting where he couldn't do it anymore. He had trained Henry, and so now it's like, so.
Well, thank you, Carol. Mark? The one thing I would say is a couple, like we talked about, a couple more bathrooms
Yeah,
by car show.
yeah. We'll get a handicap and what, 3 of the regular ones?
Cleanup day is all set up for Saturday, June 7th. And all the details will be in the paper this coming week.
I was gonna call her today on mattresses and I totally frickin' forgot.
I
But
would just say don't even take them. It's too much of a hassle.
really it is, because once you put them in them dumpsters, you can't pack them. You know, it's a frickin' pain. And I know people, it's hard to get rid of them though, you know, that's the thing.
Like I said, I left it in the paper, same as
Yeah,
last
I don't
year.
remember how many, we didn't really have that many
Yeah.
last year, did 3. You know, best to leave them off and put them on at the end.
If you don't take them, won't they end up in the
Right.
industrial park?
I'd rather
Well,
take
they-
them
Part
than
of the
take them.
goal?
They'll end up somewhere in town, but I'd rather have them on there.
That was
I'm not gonna be able to make it on the 7th, so somebody else will have to help him, or if you can find somebody else, I have to work.
But I ordered 4 30-yarders, that will be here on the Friday before, so.
Okay. Good deal. All right, pond, weed update. We got a contract here.
Contract there, I talked with Mike yesterday, and with the weather, it's not really growing. You know, so I figure probably the second week of June, he will be down here to take a look at it, the weather changes. Weeds are growing with this cold weather, so. And then we'll go from there. I know a lot of people have been asking when he's gonna do it. Well, the water's gotta be at least 50 degrees to do it.
Okay, well. All right, so
Then all you gotta do is send in a copy of Barton sign, that's it.
okay.
Yeah. He's got all the permits done up, he's just waiting to get them back from Eagles, so.
Is this just for this year or for this year and next year?
I would say just for this year.
Okay.
I knew the exact price it was gonna be, but I won't know until June.
Okay. Community club update.
Well, the only thing I have, other than the new carpet that went in nice, is I went to DNL and I got a check back for the pump replacement for $785.07. So that covers the price of the pump. So, that's what we got back. Other than that, everything's running smooth.
I talked with Heather from the library today, as I think I mentioned at last month's meeting. They received a grant for $10,000 to put in an automatic door up at the top of the ramp here. She wanted to know, she had something going on tonight, otherwise she was gonna be here, but she wants to know if we want to seek out the contractors for the job, or if we want her to, or a collaboration. I told her we should talk to Benoit's, because that's who handles our exterior doors first.
We talked to Rick.
And then she talked about changing the concrete outside the door.
That's pretty,
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe I'll talk to Lurch first
yeah.
and see what he's got to say. I want her to be here when I talk to him though, because she has in her mind what she wants it to look like. I don't know what that is yet. So,
Yeah, that little urchin. He thinks.
because she talked about putting in a book drop box out there. And if we're gonna do that, we may as well install that
Yeah, the motor.
AV box we got from the state at the same time, since the concrete will be being poured. So, I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on with that, so. Sewer department, parks,
Culverts, has another, I was gonna send it to Lynn and I forgot. Lift station quote, and he wants to go with these guys. How's it name? Crane Engineering.
okay,
I wish he could have been here today to explain it, but that, I'm trying to find the price here. I'm gonna have to print it off. I know it's a little cheaper than the one that we had originally picked, but he didn't really go with anybody yet, so. It won't be for a couple of months yet, so.
where's that crane out of?
Kimberly,
Okay.
I mean, he works with all these guys,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so,
Well, I think that's quite a bit closer
yeah,
than the other one was.
yeah.
The other one was Marshfield or central Wisconsin somewhere, I think. Okay. Brenton's gonna get with Matt tomorrow morning and put the flags up. I guess that's a parks update. How are we coming on the bullpen net?
I haven't heard nothing on that.
No.
I'll probably be here by the time he gets done I'm saying it anyway.
I see the shed thing. Thanks
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Thanks, Kelly,
Thank you for the shed.
for the baseball shed.
You know,
Can I get a garden shed?
The bill blew on the grave.
there's some on the corner.
And it's sitting on the seat, lucky they had one, but I didn't have time today to go on, I don't know if Matt put it on or not, but it's not that hard to put it on there, but.
If I have time, I'll swing down and put it on.
If not, I'll go down tomorrow night, but.
The other thing we gotta talk about tonight is flowers up at the corner. Would that maybe be something that the ladies auxiliary might wanna do?
No.
No? Okay.
Not at all.
I'll be glad to take care of that, Chad.
Okay.
I'll help you.
Thank you.
Janie, would you be willing to help with that again this year?
Physically, I can't do any of the physical labor, but I'll bring water and
Okay.
snack. 'Cause
Okay.
If it's pretty, if it's a hot day, you want some water, so. I did last year, I brought a cooler of some goodies.
Okay. I'll call the motorcycle guys.
The Rebels?
I can contact them,
Okay.
but my understanding is I once again ordered the flowers like we did last year from Lee's, have them invoice you,
Yep.
and then I will also pick up the preen to help eliminate the weed for weed control and submit that receipt. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
just
do
do it.
that. I've already taken, because I housed the canna bulbs over the winter, and
Okay.
I took those back to Lee mid-March, and he's repotting them and put them in the greenhouse. He normally does that for us free of charge,
Okay.
and that saves on having to buy new cannas every year.
Okay, yeah, just whatever you did last year,
Do it again.
do it again. Yep.
Make notes so in case you forget next year. I've done it 2 years already, so
Thank you, Willie.
I'll call on you folks to help weed.
Okay.
Like,
Do have one other thing
Our
on the
heads up.
parks.
Okay, go ahead.
That pavilion down there, we have to do something with that. That siding is just buckling up. It's what, how many freaking years old? Cause if we get that grant for that ball fight, I got plans for like a concession stand and that in there.
Sure.
So I was gonna see if Stevie give a price on putting tin on it. Instead of, I mean, you might have to cut them parts off that are bendy, but 'Cause this shit, critters are starting to go in there now because it's just curling right out. It's old, you know, when all the water runs off, it sits there. I'll get a price from Stevie for next month, just to see what it will be.
Okay.
Cause they're not keeping their signs or nothing in there anymore, so we can get it cleaned out. And they got one fridge in there already, that other one I don't think works anymore, but I know that white one does, so. This will just get a price and see what it'll cost.
All right, sounds good. Board comment, anybody have anything?
Not me.
Yeah, I would like to say that there's still a lot of rumors going around that Carol is doing Maxine's job or doing my job, and we want to set it straight that she is not. She never has. She's here to help us when we need help, and if we call her, she helps us. She is not doing anybody's job. So just to set that record straight, she does not do Maxine's
I
job.
know, I haven't touched anything.
That's all I want to say.
Okay,
I don't have anything.
you don't have anything else?
Nope.
Mark, do you have anything else?
I'm thinking, but I forgot what I was gonna say anyways. No, I'm good right now.
All right, public comment. Miss Spalding Township Clerk, Connie, how you doing?
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Connie Wells, and I wear many different hats throughout the UP and Menominee County, but tonight I'm here in the capacity as chairperson of the Menominee County Republican Events Committee. So I'm the chair of the subcommittee, and we're hoping it will be a huge event coming up on Flag Day, Saturday, June 14th. We're having a Flag Day picnic over at Veterans Park. It's also kind of a fundraiser for us. We have all of our UP reps coming, Ed McBroom, Dave Preston, Carl Bonak, Greg Markkinen, and I just got a call yesterday that Jack Bergman is coming as well. And our special guest is Tudor Dixon. We'll be serving hot dogs, brats, chips, and the Power Spalding Lions Club has donated their time and their fryers. They are gonna work for us and do french fries. We have Wendy Sexton is going to be giving a history of our flag and why it's important, doing a little demonstration on the proper care of a flag. And then Roy Berto is gonna come up and he's doing a little entertainment piece called This Raggedy Old Flag. So we're really excited about this. We hope that we'll have good attendance and everyone is invited to come. And I think that's all I have.
What time does that start?
I do have flyers here, and it starts at noon central, and we're thinking it'll go till about 3 or 4.
Jane.
I have flyers if anybody's interested. Raise your hand.
Just that one.
There you go. What else? Oh, I'll take one. Okay, thank you.
Here, give me one copy.
I'll take one, too.
Okay, post them. Invite your friends and family.
Thank you.
Yep. Kelly, you want to put one on the Wendricks?
I could do that.
I can do that too.
When it's cleared.
I'll probably remember quicker than.
Anyone else? Does anybody have any other questions?
Just leave a couple on the table so then we can post them up on the door and stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, we can't
We can't.
Oh, yeah,
hear.
you can't.
Yeah,
I
we
put
can't
it in
hear.
the Legion though this weekend.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true, you can do that.
You want a couple?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Any other questions for me? The Menominee County Republicans has been kind of dormant for many years, and we're trying to revitalize it. So this is our first main event, and then we are planning a Lincoln Day dinner in the fall, September 29th, which will be held at the Belgian Town Bar. But that's just a save the date item for now.
Okay, thank you, Connie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Janet?
Yeah, what can be done about those stupid motorbikes that are going by my house? I mean, they're not just going by, they're going back and forth constantly. And they are so noisy, I don't know why they are allowed to be that noisy.
You talking about dirt bikes or motorcycles?
Dirt bike.
Dirt bikes.
The kid who lived up by the church.
Yeah, it just
Goes down
Here.
Park Avenue.
Yeah, he goes down, I must turn at the corner, and then he turns around at the point thing and goes back and forth. Very irritating.
He had that problem last year too, and I thought Pia had taken care of it, but I guess.
No, he's still blowing stop signs.
He's gonna have to go visit him again, I guess. Cause I kicked 3 out of town last Saturday. A motorbike, side by side, and a 4-wheeler that were ripping up IXL Drive, the Point, the baseball diamond, so. Don't want to see these bikes in town again, I'll be calling the DNR.
And also I had another question. Do kids have to have license to drive those side-by-sides?
Yeah. you
They're
gotta-
supposed to be, what, 16, have taken the course, and have an adult with you.
Because I
It's
see
a
a
law.
lot of kids going by, and there's a bunch of kids in there, and I'm sure that they're 16.
Well, at 16 with a driver's license, you can take the course at 14 if you have that course, but I still think you gotta be with
You
the
still
parents
have
that
to
are
have
16.
it.
Well, there's just kids in there.
Yeah,
The best one to call would be the CO,
Steve.
because the DNR technically takes care of the off-road vehicles,
Yeah.
versus the state, the
They run
cops.
into the point thing in and out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, since that point thing has been there, it's a pain in the rear.
I'll give Steve, I have Steve's number, so I will give him a call.
Yeah, there's cars and trucks running in there night and day. I mean, I stay up late at night, and there's people in there 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, going in and out. And I know they're not fishing.
I thought Mark was patrolling that.
Not at 2, 3 in the morning,
Come on, set your alarm.
I used to, but
That's all I
Jan-
have.
I try, so I can do.
Is that it, Janet? Jeanette? You raised your hand?
Yeah, I know what the issues are at the housing with the community room. There's a couple that don't want a group in there. I mean, to play games, play cards, whatever. They want it, I would say, a quiet area. And I don't, now this is my opinion. I don't think it's fair that a couple people now have the dictation of what is supposed, community room is for everybody to use. And I feel that if you're not screaming and hollering, getting drunk, destroying the property, leaving it dirty, you should not be barred from being in there when you want to be in there. Chad, I've been talking back and forth with you about what's going on. I did file a complaint of discrimination on this down in Detroit field office. Because the community room, we pay our rent, and according to the rules or whatever they want to call them, the community room is supposed to be a offshoot of our living room. So you can take it where you're gonna invite people into your living room to play cards. And like I said, within reason of how you treat that room.
I'll come to the next housing meeting.
Okay,
We'll talk about it there.
okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cal, go ahead,
You want me to go over?
go ahead.
Sure.
It's all yours.
Okay. There's one more point I should touch on. If you all remember on the November ballot, there was a CTE millage countywide, career and technical education. That passed, so we're all gonna be paying a millage for CTE education. Well, what North Central is, their portion of that is there is going to be, it's not cut in stone, but the plan is there will be 3 CTE courses at North Central. Building trades, culinary arts, and health science, I think they call it. And to do that, there's an investment that needs to be done here. And last I saw, the budget by the ISD was about $500,000 was going to be invested at North Central from that millage. And then also courses that are available to our students, but then they would have to travel, is agricultural sciences in Kearney. And then I believe there's like 6 or 8 other ones in Menominee. And all the schools in our district, in our county, are coordinating their schedules so those kids are available for 2-hour blocks. So they'll transport them, do their education and back, so that all the schools will be on the same schedule for that. But the millage that passed and that we're paying, that is being invested back at North Central.
Good deal.
That's good.
Misty?
So I have a question about the payroll checks that were issued on the 14th. The pay period was from 4/15 to 5/14. Did that, was that for last month's meeting?
What are you pinpointing, Misty?
Well, there was a member of the board that wasn't present,
Right.
yet got paid.
I get paid $150 a month irregardless.
Whether you,
170.
Yeah, it gets,
175.
100 he gets is just for.
If you look at what Mark got, the 295.13,
okay,
that's what Brenton would get if he had been at the meeting. It's the same.
okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Yep.
I appreciate that. My second question is, am I reading this correctly that this month alone was $500 for garbage bags? $380 for 60-gallon garbage bags from Hiawatha Chef Supply. And then we have a Hiawatha Chef Supply garbage can liners to the tune of $120. My math is mathing, that's $500. I would like to think that we have enough for the entire year.
Two invoices on there.
Because I know the ones we use out there, the bigger ones.
Oh, yeah.
Those ones, yeah. Normally we just buy the big contractor bags all at once.
Yeah, the 60-gallon ones are the ones we use all summer.
There's gotta be other stuff on that
There
invoice.
gotta be.
Yeah, it can't just be that.
Yeah, that's
Bleach,
nuts.
bleach, garbage bag.
But you get cleaning supplies too, like,
I think so. I'll have to check with her and ask.
look in there and see.
Can you pull that from the folder?
Should have been paid with a
Right,
credit
no,
card.
there's a over here.
And then my last question is, so I see the carpet replacement was the amount of $15,905, and the insurance covered $22,489. Where would the balance of that be located? So the $6,584.
That will go to ServPro. Plus, we have to throw some in, because what is ServPro,
8,000.
8,000?
Some.
So it'll eat up pretty much all of that insurance.
And then the tunnel vision, what was the results of that? You know, because I know there was a question about the T or roots or.
Yeah, well, when they came down and filmed it the first time, there is a T there that goes from the kitchen to the toilets and then out. So they sleeved it. Instead of tearing the handicap ramp off and digging it all up, they put a sleeve in there and had it sit for 24 hours, so there's nothing that can catch the toilet paper and stuff anymore, which I thought would be a lot easier than tearing all that off and digging it all up, so. It is a T in there. I thought it was a 90 from when Stenberg's did it, but Tunnel Vision has a lot better cameras than what Stenberg's have, and so that's what they suggested, so that's why we figured that would be the easiest road.
Did they guarantee no more backup?
I didn't guarantee it, so far it's been good though.
Barb, to her credit's been very good about running the water and stuff regular, and now too, that helps the situation, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Willie?
First question I had was on the financial report also, and it just indicates Integra First Credit Union, an expenditure of $1,423.47. Now, that just indicates on there, QuickBooks, stamps, back blaze, fire department pump, and food. And I'm just wondering why that isn't broken out. Does this mean that it was just pulled out of the checking account?
I would assume that, and Maxine, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a credit card bill.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it would still be broken out into different areas though, correct?
Yes, because it goes to the fire department, the stamps would
Okay.
be for
Okay.
mostly sewer use.
All right.
Mailings and stuff like
Okay.
QuickBooks.
Well, thank you for that. And talking about the pump being out at the point, I know we had talked about the potential of renting spaces out there once we got the water in. Is there a process that's in place for that to be handled this year? Or is it
You
just-
still can't charge even with water. I tried to explain that. You cannot, just because you're putting a pump out there, it still isn't considered a campground. Until you have it all mapped out, like Powers, they get checked every year. So you gotta have an engineering firm come and draw it. You can't just draw it on a piece of paper and hand it to the DNR because that's not gonna fly. And you gotta have garbage. There's a lot of things that have to be done yet before you can charge.
Okay,
I mean, you can have
I
four-
ask where we're at in the process of having that completed then? We started working on this how long ago?
Yeah, but it takes money. That's why we need this recreation plan, so we can do a DNR grant for a campground. Because this engineering firm, to draw that all up, is probably 20,000-30,000, at least. That's
Okay,
going through Scotty
Could
Noah.
we check into that and see what that cost would be?
Yeah, I can check with Scotty, because that's who I talked about the ball diamond too, with Scotty Noah, so. But I know it's not gonna be cheap. So you know that, what they cost to draw all that up. But we'd have done it a long time ago if we would've had the money to do it. But it has to be all drawn up and laid out for the DNR. So if we wanna do a grant for the campground, that's what we're gonna have to get an engineering firm for any of them.
And that's good, I didn't know that that was like a specific project, so I'll add that into the
Yeah.
rules and stuff, so that when you do write the grant, you can have that really explicitly listed out. So I'll make sure to add that in,
Okay,
just so you guys know for when you're reading those.
all right. Thank you, Jessica.
Now,
But
when-
you can have 4 people camp out there, and you don't have to have a license. So when the 5th one comes in, then somebody's gotta kick them out. It's not gonna be me. But, cause I've been on the phone with Mike Snyder many a times over this and emails, and you know, that's what you have to do.
My final comment is regarding the minutes of the meeting and the perspective that these are considered legal documents.
The 3 minutes are up.
Nobody else got timed. So this is discrimination. You did
No,
not
it's
time
not.
anybody
I
else.
certainly did. I had that each timer going.
She did.
For everybody that was talking.
If
I
I'm waiting
absolutely
for a
did.
response, that does not take from my 3 minutes.
It does.
No, it does not. You need to go back and you need to look, Linda. It does not. My
It does.
concern is minutes are a legal document as to what occurred in the meeting. Now, what I'm going to say simply about last month's meeting, there were several motions that were made, and it included monetary expenditures. And there is not a motion mentioned in the minutes. It is mentioned that Mr. Bobby Gergel asked about the amount of money in one motion, because that was the motion that you had made. It was supported and passed, and there was no monetary dollar added to it. So all I'm recommending is that we make sure that we get the pertinent information in there, especially the monetary expenditures. Thank you.
Carol?
I have 2 quick things. The first one is, I confirm that I am not doing their job, and I do not like hearing that I'm doing their job, so it's done and over. The other thing is, when you were talking about the library, you said something about the concrete out front. There has been an issue with the concrete in the way that it slopes. We've had several people fall
She's
at
talking about the approach to the
Yeah.
doors.
We've had several people fall, coming out of there and coming in. So down the road, we need to address that. I don't know if it's,
We can do that when Lurch comes.
Yeah.
it's just, we've had several older ladies and that have fell out
We
there.
got a couple of nickel medals too that took, you
Yeah.
don't see that step, you
Yeah.
know, if you got a locker or a
And
cage,
I'm
it's
just,
tough.
I know it's an issue, but
With the amount of that grant, I think we should be able to do something that
something, just
addresses
to make it,
all of it, I would think, because I can't imagine that mechanism for that door is gonna be an exorbitant amount of money, although I could be wrong, I don't know, I've never shopped for one.
I don't
before.
know the detail, I
Concrete, pretty
just,
pricey.
Yeah,
I'm just saying what I've observed from having,
okay. Paula?
I just want to thank each and every one of you board members for putting up with what you do here. Because, yeah, laugh. Because there's a few that come meeting after meeting after meeting, it's sickening. Questioning your jobs. If they wanted to do it, they should have ran. And if they didn't, shut their mouths.
Well, some of them ran.
Yeah, but the major one didn't.
That must be red.
Yeah.
Right,
No.
you didn't run?
She questions everything you do. If you think you can do better, run.
That's what, hey, that's when you run for public office, you put yourself in that position.
No.
You're under
I've
scrutiny
come
from
to
the
meetings
whole
for
company.
years here, years, and I've never seen nothing like
Let her
you.
talk.
Never in my life. You're terrible.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Well, I do, and a lot of people do.
Well, that's okay. They're entitled to their opinions.
It's a public meeting, it's open information for everyone.
Well, you don't have to come month after month and put the board members down. That's ridiculous. You want to make the town better? Encourage them.
Thank you.
Boy, I sure wish somebody was here questioning and asking the same questions back in, what was it, 2012 to 2024? When all these documents weren't submitted, and we've got the IRS and having to unbury right now? How much work Maxine's got? Boy, I sure wish people were here then asking those
Now
questions.
you're encouraging me.
I was.
Good for you.
Hey, I can recognize when somebody's working hard.
Okay, whatever.
Motion by
I'm gonna
Mark
call
to
a spade a
adjourn, do I have a
spade.
second?
I'll second.
Second by Maxine, all in favor, say aye.
Well worded.
She sat there, she loved it. She loved it, because she said, I get to see. All my
I didn't want to be responsible